Welcome to Take It from the Iron Woman. My name is Susanne Müller, your host and the Iron Woman. This podcast is about empowering yourself and others to make real changes in the world. You will hear from everyday, smart, sophisticated, hip people like you and me. Not everybody has to be an Iron Woman to impress the world. Together, we will learn from the sports and business leaders how you can become a more successful person as an entrepreneur or a leader. It's one step at a time, one day at a time. Take your steps now. Take your big steps now. Join me on this journey to success. Take it from the Iron Woman. We only have special guests, and today we have the honor to talk to Christina, Filipino, Spanish, and Croatian American, everything in the house. And then not only, but she's a ballroom dancer, and she has organized conferences, Women Getting Visible, and in 2026, it will not stop. Christina, maybe give us an intro, what you do or what don't you do yet, because it seems like you are in control of everything.
Oh my goodness. Thank you, Suzanne, for that introduction. Yes, I am so excited. 2026 is what I'm calling my year of visibility. 2025 was my year of yes, where I've got my ball moving, but 26, I am so excited about this year. So Women Getting Visible was born this year more for my visibility for myself, but to bring that visibility around for other women around the world. I have some tour dates, I call them, coming up this year. I have 2 conferences as well, because my mission is to share all of the amazing things like women like you who are podcasting, who've done the Iron Man, Iron Woman.
Yeah.
Who are authors, who are not as visible as other women, who have been sitting in the rooms when corporate and get passed over and recognized, and even mothers who work so hard but just get known as so-and-so's mom. We are all in need of a little push to say, you know what, I see you, I recognize you, and I love to make you a star in my life. So that's a little bit about the visibility piece. But then thank you for the introduction about the multicultural background, because I grew up in Cleveland, Ohio. I live outside of Washington, D.C. now. So much more cultural city than I grew up in. I was always raised with multiple identities. So I knew that I had a Croatian background, a strong Croatian background. I knew that my mother came from the Philippines and was a pediatrician here, and what she went through to come to this country, and our Spanish roots from the Filipino side too. I really had a different sense of world history as well as my ancestral history. I really consider myself a child of the world.
I love that, child of the world. Is that how you got into ballroom dancing, or how did that start in a way? Because I feel like when you're such a mix, you need to balance that in a way. And when I think of ballroom dancing, it's all about balancing, no?
Oh, yes, it is. Balancing and twirling.
Oh, twirling, I forgot.
From my father's side, grew up with polka. So polka was the very, very first dance. And there are stories about me being able to stand on other people's toes when I was just a little toddler, and they would dance with me around the floor. So before I can even remember, I actually didn't get into ballroom dancing until I had graduated college. I went back to the Philippines, and it's very much a part of the culture is dancing. My cousin said, hey, come on, let's go dancing. And I'm thinking club dancing. I'm 22 years old. And I'm like, yes, let's go dancing. And we're in a ballroom club. And I said, oh, this isn't what I thought. But next thing you know, here I am dancing with others. And they hire someone to come and dance with you at the tables. Someone referred to them as taxi dancers, but I don't know if that's what they call it in the Philippines. Both of those instructors told my family, they said, she's really good. And I just kind of laughed because I'm like, okay, I've never done this before. And that was actually the beginning of my journey into ballroom dancing, and I fell in love with it for myself. Before that, when I was taking my exams, and they would always fall on exam week, my mother would call me and say, the championships are on PBS. You need to watch. And I would drop. It didn't matter the extent of the exam I had the next day. I would drop my books and my pens and pencils and watch ballroom dancing. And I said I was going to do that one day. And I did.
That's a cool story. And sometimes you fall into something later in life, but it helps you to get to the next stage in a way. And talking about stage, how did the women getting visible start? What was the pivotal moment for you?
When I started working on my podcast, Women's Health, Wealth, and Happiness, and I interview women from around the world, that was such a great learning experience because I have another one called 10-Minute Mindfulness Motivation, which was simply audio. When I moved into the video world of women's health, wealth, and happiness, I started to interview women I have from Australia, from Canada, from the Philippines, from India, from the UK. And it was such a beautiful experience to talk to these women and how we have shared experiences in our health, wealth, and happiness. As I began to talk to more women and start to network and get myself outside of being always on this side of the microphone and camera, going, okay, I need to network more. I need to find more women who are in my local world. I started to hear the call of, how do I get myself out there more? What is it like to be a podcaster? Should I podcast? How do I guest more? I wrote this book and I don't know what to do with it. I have my business, but I don't know how to market myself. I thought about it and literally, I can do that. And I woke up and I tell everybody, if you meet me, you're going to hear this story. On May 1st of 2025, I woke up at 5 a.m. And I know this because I looked at my watch, my clock. The words women getting visible went through my head. And I literally was about to put my head back on the pillow, and I could still to this moment feel my hair about to touch the pillow. And I sat back up and I said, no, this is it. This is my mission to help other women get visible. I've been on the stages. I've presented myself. I've spoken internationally. It was now my turn to help other women get visible. And that was the moment it was born. And let me just say, it is this passion that keeps me going and going that I say, oh, I need to go to sleep. I wake up and go, oh, I need to get to it because there are 4 billion women out there that I need to speak with.
Yeah. Oh my God. Will you bring all the 4 billion women together on one stage? That would be something to challenge you.
Oh, I love it. I love it. But yeah, bringing women on stage. One of the things that I've learned from my conferences and as I'm doing workshops with women is giving them an opportunity to speak. We look at some of the stages that are out there. It's sometimes an intimidating experience to do it, all the preparation, all the self-doubt that we go through to let ourselves be visible. And for me, just like my studio, when we don't know how to dance, we say we have 2 left feet, which was the name of my company. So here I am again with women who want to speak and giving them that stage. Maybe we're not visible yet, but we're getting visible. I give women the opportunity to learn how to speak and speak in front of women in a way that's comfortable and that they can speak their truth and be vulnerable in front of other women. And that is what I noticed at my conference, is how women were okay to suddenly walk up on the stage who've never been on the stage before or hadn't met the other women in the room and suddenly said, this is my story, this is my truth. Everybody was awestruck. And as I continue to do this, I'm watching these moments happen over and over again. And I said, this is beautiful to me because, oh my goodness, I get filled with such passion. It really is my drive. It's really my drive. And I have to keep doing this. And I can't explain why, but it's so fun. We have these amazing stories to tell and I want to hear them.
The world needs to hear them, not only you.
Yes.
And when you say you want to have women getting visible, so you train them a little bit, or it's almost like a TED Talk. The TED Talk, you provide a topic and then you go on that red circle and that's it. Do you prepare the women who might be a little afraid to speak, or what is the requirements for the women to be speaking at your conferences?
I have different levels. I have my keynotes. Those are the women who already practice, like the TEDx talks. We have workshops, so women who might have not held a workshop outside of a Zoom call or who've done them in small groups but ready to go into another room and going, you know what? I have the expertise. Let me do this some more. As well as women who've been doing it for some time. And then the 10-minute, what I call the open mic. So those come from different varieties. Some of those women I'm working with to say, okay, let's work through your story and what does that look like? Others have come to me and say, can I share? Can I just practice what I'm doing now? We have a little bit of all of those. And a couple of women who have already been professional speakers, but say, let me try a different story. That thing that's always been on their mind. Like I had one woman step up and say, I want to talk about intuition. It's so important to me. And I'm starting to recognize intuition in my life. I've never spoken about it before, but this seems like a comfortable space. So let me talk about it. After she did, I'm ready to bring that to the stage now in a bigger way. Yeah.
It's also good to be outside of your comfort zone. Obviously, when I talk about business, running, women, cross-cultural awareness, I'm in my element. I can talk for hours, but don't ask me to talk about finance.
One of my first guests in my women's health, wealth, and happiness interviews to Inspire, that's what she talks about is growth edges. Those places where you get to where you have to be a little uncomfortable so that you have the growth. And I'm watching women do that through month stages that I'm providing for them.
We all have to present. Even though like, I don't want to present. If you want to get ahead, you need to present. You need to share what you have to offer to the world. The better and the more we do it, the more comfortable we get.
Exactly. And that's the point where I think for women is we have the expertise. Don't undercut the things that you already know, that you already have. For example, in my own life, going from ballroom dance entrepreneur, I had a studio and a company in the Washington, D.C. area for 20 plus years, moving into social media and podcasting and YouTube and saying, well, wait a minute, I have all of these skills from running this business for all of these years. It's moving so much faster this time that I don't have to go through those growth edges, but I'm allowing myself to go through new growth edges where I was local before. Now I can move into that global market that I've always wanted to go into.
What is different between the ballroom studio and the conferences now?
That we can be anywhere. Even with the ballroom, we can dance anywhere and we can hold those. My clients were all in this local area. Now, with Women Getting Visible, I'm connecting with community leaders in all the different cities that I'm going to. So every time I travel, I meet someone new, whether it's one lady or two lady. I hold workshops, I hold coffees, I hold happy hours, and I put it out there and say, hey, come join me. And it's so fascinating to me because women will come and meet a stranger. Of course, they do their research. They check me out on LinkedIn and I tell them, please do. It's all out there. And then let's meet and have a coffee. Let's have a drink. Let's do a workshop together, because when we can uplift each other, we can grow together. I'm learning something from you. You're learning something from me. And we can take that back to our communities as well.
And when you go, as an example, I saw on your website, to the Philippines, so you have coffee one-on-one or you have a gathering. How does that look like?
I'll put it out there. I'll reach out to my connections and say, hey, I'm going to be in this city. The ladies I already know, and then I'll ask them, if you have a friend or somebody that you'd like to bring along, let's do it. Like we can do a simple happy hour with like a little workshop, or we can do a bigger workshop where they can present and I can present and we can do something bigger together. So those are the collaborations. I don't like the word collaborations. Those are the partnerships that we can create together. And I like the word partnerships because that's a little bit more of a commitment between you and I to be doing something together. You're going to show up for a partnership. A collaboration, I might have something else that comes up.
Interesting. I never thought about that. Yeah, partnership. And what other cities are you envisioning for the future?
So we'll be in the Philippines in this next month in February. We will be back in DC in April, where we'll have one in Annapolis, Maryland. In May, possibly June, we'll be in London. Those are upcoming. And then Minneapolis in June will be our mid-year conference. That's the beginning half of the year. And next October, we will be back for our big conference, October 10, 11. 9 and 10, 11 are the dates for Washington, D.C.
Okay.
And then cities in between, because wherever I go, I'm going to put on a little workshop or a happy hour.
So you kind of like make your travels, but you add the workshops. Where else would you like to travel to? So maybe we can plant some seeds.
Ooh, so I have just spoke with someone on another interview that I had. So that'll be in Finland. She's saying, come on out, let's do a workshop together. One of my friends has a house in southern Spain. And so she said, come on, let's do Spain together. So those are the couple other countries. I have friends in Canada. I would love to. They're only in the summer in Canada, though.
Yeah. Nothing in the winter.
So yeah, and even in my 2027, I'm thinking in my manifestation, let's do Dubai. I haven't been to Dubai yet. Funny enough, I have friends that I'm starting to make who have connections in Dubai, who live in Dubai. And I said, maybe there's something to this.
There's a lot of opportunity in Dubai. We need to do more of these events, even if they're on the smaller scale, and then we can scale them. And then next thing we know, we're big and we are getting visible. Who would you like to have? Let's say sometimes we need a celebrity to get to the next level. Who would be a person that you would love to invite?
I'm going to go straight for it. I'm going for Oprah.
Yep.
Let me go there, because talking about a woman who paved her path and became extremely visible in a household name, she's definitely one who did it. And a time where she was able to pave the pathway for a lot of women to become daytime talk show hosts. So yes, that would be my absolute star.
Good. Let's put it out there.
One day, maybe they'll say, I've watched every Women Getting Visible show.
We have that. We'll put that out there. Yeah. I'm just amazed. This will be big, and you will be in Dubai and on Oprah and whatever you wish for.
Oh, I'm looking forward to it. It's so fun when I think about the trajectory of my own life. When I would fly and I had the studio and I would at nighttime and you see all the little speckles of light. And I've always thought to myself, how do you reach out to all those people? It's such an interesting thing that podcasting came about, and to be able to share our voices in podcasting around the world. Now, for me, not only sharing that voice, but being able to have the ability to travel as often as I do and to use those opportunities. For example, I was having a vacation in Hawaii, in Kauai, and I decided, let me put a coffee out. And I had 2 women who signed up to join me for coffee. And I asked, what made you decide to meet a complete stranger? One was looking for friendship. She said, I'm at a point in my life where I would love to have more friends. I don't care where they are around the world, but I spend so much time just working. And when I'm on the island, everybody's my client. So it's hard to have friends when you're on the island that's not in the business world that she's in. The other one said, I've thought about podcasting. What does that look like? What tips can you give me? If you don't put yourself out there and ask someone to dance, they're not going to know that you want to dance. So ask for that coffee. Meet someone new today. Absolutely.
How do you recharge your batteries in order to be up and running and organizing everything?
Oh my goodness. I do absolutely live by the work hard, play hard. I will put in my 18-hour days. In those 18-hour days, I also am a homeschool mother. So I have an 11-year-old son, and we homeschool by choice because we travel. So I don't have to ask for permission, just like not having a boss. I don't have to ask for permission. I just ask myself for permission. Can we go on this trip? And we do. So when we go on the trips, I might take at most 1 hour of my time to check some emails, check some notes, go to my LinkedIn because that's my guilty pleasure, celebrate all the people that I know. That will be it for 1 hour, but I will take that week off to spend time with my family and really be present, because when you're working, you're present in that work, but those moments, and we do that, I would say every 6 weeks, where we really go out for a week, a 10-day trip, celebrate together and say, what haven't we seen? What haven't we do? Yes, there's always one day on that I put that coffee or that happy hour and that trip too.
But in a way, it's a little fun. It's a little curiosity that you meet the local people. It's really courageous because it's also a risk. Who can you meet? And
it's true. And it's funny because I'm very cautious about that. If I were to meet somebody, I want them to feel the same way that I am. So I always make sure it's a very public space so that we both know, okay, here we are. And so that we know other people are around. We can check in with our loved ones. Like if you need to call somebody to say, yep, I met Christina. She's a real person, not
a real
bot.
person.
Let's take our selfie together and go on from there. It's really, really interesting. But it's true. What you just said there is the opportunity to meet locals, because it's one of the questions I love to ask is, tell me about the everyday environment. What is it like as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, as someone who's part of this community? What is your support in this community? Because every place is a little bit different, and that is so much fun to find out.
And you get it from a good person who wants to be with you, who has something to share and wants to be visible.
Exactly. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Because in New York City is completely different than a St. Louis or a Puerto Rico. Every city's going to have its own vibe about it. Some a little bit more laid back and quiet, and some running at 25 miles an hour.
I just wish you all the best. I hope we can partner up. Good luck with your trip to the Philippines. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Suzanne.
Good luck with those conferences. I'd love to be a speaker at a conference or even attending. Let's see what 2026 will bring for all of us. Take it from the Iron Woman. We have episodes every Monday. Come and join us, learn with others, travel with others, ask questions. And also Take It From the Iron Woman is the book Global Business Coaching with Sports Parallels. Download it or get it in your local bookstore. And also subscribe and like the podcast where you're listening to this podcast today. Thank you so much for your support. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.